Hi there, it's Suzanne today, and we're going to assemble the filigree boxes. And they're new on Silhouette, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds, and they're supposed to look like little gifts with bows on top. Now, you can show them in different ways. You can show them bare without a bow on top, and they look pretty cool that way. Or you can, of course, put the bow on top and show them like that. You can put a flameless votive inside, and they'll look like that, and the shadows they give off are amazing. Or you can add vellum to the inside of the box, and you get a more muted lantern look from that. So let's get started assembling this. You're going to need a ruler, a bone folder, and some narrow double-sided tape if you're not using glue, and a pair of scissors if you like to cut your tape. Okay, that's the side, and this is the bottom and the top. And we're going to fold that up first. Now the flaps on these boxes are very narrow because that helps the whole look of the box. Using a ruler along the score line and using your bone folder to fold the side up might help you a lot to make sure that you get that fold exactly right. Make sure you burnish down your folds with your bone folder. Now I'm just going to speed the video up here while I go around the box and fold up all the score lines. And there we go. This is the top, one of the sides, and the bottom. So the bottom is solid, and the top has the crossed bands on it that are supposed to look like ribbon. And this is how the two pieces go together. So I'll go ahead and fold up all the score lines on this piece, and I'll speed the video up too. There we go. Now this is going to wrap around as the sides of the box. And this is ultimately how it's going to go together. Now we just have to add some adhesive. The adhesive I'm using is 3 millimeters wide, so pretty narrow, and I can rip that with my finger, and that's what I'm going to do. If you like to cut it, that's just fine. And I've speeded up the video again. There's only two ends that require adhesive on this piece, but there's more on this piece, and we're just going to put it around the bottom because we need the top free because we need to be able to get inside it if we're going to use it as a lantern. And I'm going to speed up the video again. And that's it. Now we can put the two pieces together. So remember, that's the bottom, and these are the sides. Now, if there is direction to the sides, to the pattern, make sure you get them going the right way up. So just remove the release paper off and attach it right here. And I like to lift my project up off the table, but if you're happier with it flat, just make sure everything lines up and the folds properly. And this is what it looks like, or will look like. Now we're going to attach the bottom. So we're going to work our way around, and I'm speeding up the video so that you don't have to yawn. Just make sure all the edges are lined up and the folds, the corners line up, and everything should be just fine. And then when you get to the end, remove the release paper from the side of the long piece and attach it to the side of the top bottom piece. Does that make sense? Now just make sure that all your joins are secure. Rub your hand along the inside and outside. And that's your box made. Now sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge getting the lid to seat. The last one I did worked perfectly. This one is being a little feistier. There we go. Yay! So cute. You're always going to know which side is the top because of the cross there, the top of the gift where the bow is going to go. But first I want to show you how you can secure the box a little bit, and that is just by putting a little glue dot just right inside the top. And it'll pop open if it's a micro glue dot, so you can put a flameless votive inside. Now we're going to make that awesome bow up on top of the gift. And I have one here that I made earlier, and I made it a little bit hastily, and it's pretty bad. It has creases, and we're going to make a better one. Now I've used 80-pound cardstock for this just to make it more difficult. Now this bow comes in 4 pieces, and that's the bottom, and these are the 2 loops, and that's the other piece. And so what we're going to do is form these loops first. And I'm going to open my scissors up and I'm going to do some paper curling. Make sure you don't cut yourself. So I'll do both sides. Now the only one that you might have problems with is a bow that I've cut a shape out of. You might want to use 65-pound cardstock for that and stick to the technique I'm going to show you next. And that is giving it a spritz of water, a very fine spray, and on the outside of the bow, and the paper will start curling right away. And just give it a sec to soften up a bit, and then you can start manipulating it. And this is 80-pound cardstock. It's even easier with 65-pound. So place that over there. And I'm going to use a mini glue dot, not the micro glue dot that I usually like. And it will stick just fine to the dampened cardstock. And you're going to glue it down right there. And I'm just rounding it out a little bit. And the same with the other side. And overlap. And there you have 2 loops. Just like that. Now you're going to repeat the same thing with the larger loop. So now we have 2 loops, and we're going to stick them together with another micro, no, they're mini glue dots. They're a bit bigger. And they go together just like this. And then add another mini glue dot and stick it on the cut piece of ribbon. And the last step with this is to take this little tie part, and it's got 2 scores in it, and it's more just to kind of start to shape the piece, and you're going to put it over like that and use a mini glue dot to hold that in place. Oh yes, and the mini glue dot wants to stick to the release paper more than it does to the project. Sometimes that happens. And there we have it. Ta-da! A bow. Ready to go. Now, sometimes I use 2 different colors of cardstock on these. Sometimes I use all the same. This happens to be a lighter shade of cardstock than the box is made from, just for a little accent. And then you're going to stick it over onto the top of the box. Now, press too hard and that'll happen. Teachable moment. So lift it up and push down, and you might want to use more adhesive than just one glue dot. And then you close the lid. Oops. That's what I say. You might want more than one glue dot on to hold the ribbon in place. And there you have it. Now, how cute is that? Awesome. Now, in each design, I've given you 5, not 4, 5 panels that you can cut from vellum and use to line your box. I just use 4 micro glue dots on the corner of each piece of vellum and adhere it to the inside of the box. Just like this. And I'll speed the video up again. And there's the last one. And we'll make sure it's seated in place. And then we can close the lid again. Now, sometimes the vellum might get in the way, so you might want to run more adhesive along the top of the vellum. It depends on how much you're going to be opening and closing your box. You might just leave it like this. Here's the snowflake filigree box with the vellum inside it. And I just want to make a little comparison here. This is the star box lined with vellum that has been lit up like a lantern with a flameless votive inside. And I wanted to compare it to this star box with no vellum in it. I really love this look because I love the shadows that are cast by the pattern on the box. I really love the way these boxes turned out, and I think you will too, no matter how you decide to display them. So I hope you've enjoyed this project, and if you want to see more like it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you subscribe to all notifications. And the other thing you can do is subscribe to my newsletter. Don't worry, I won't spam you, and you might occasionally get a freebie. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Happy creating!